In the first part of the session, we'll talk about a quick overview of Cognos various components, and we talk about these components in greater detail in subsequent session. Right now, I'm going to give you a one-line overview about all these products, what they do, and we'll also talk about the metadata model and all. Okay. First, we start with Cognos Query Studio. Now, each product I would underline and show you live. Once you install Cognos into your system, in your home page itself, you find all the components available into your system. When you log in your home page, you see all components are available into your system, right? So we start with basic. First is your Cognos Query Studio. As the name indicates, Query Studio. Now Cognos sells this product as a separate license. As I mentioned in yesterday's session as well, the purpose of keeping these products as a different so that we can sell the product license based on user needs. If people need only basic functionality, we can sell them Query Studio. What is Query Studio? Its purpose to allow the user to perform simple query quickly to resolve a specific issue. What is the important point? Simple query to quickly prepare a solution, resolve a specific issue that may arise or a specific question which people would like to know. Allow access to same data structure used by other tools. So now think, I show you, you have option over here, authorize business report, couple of options. There is an option called query my data. When you're designing, these are all data marts or metadata to you. Metadata is like a list of tables, column, queues. These are required to prepare your business query. Now think from a business user, in order to query any data, what information you need. You need not know anything about your underlying tables, column, keys, joins, constraint. You don't need any information. Just drag and drop. So what is Query Studio? It is just a platform where people look at the business data into their own vocabulary, into their own language. Business will see that their data into their own language, and whatever information they want, they can simply drag and drop. They don't need any IT dependency. See, in my example, I have not used much business vocabulary. You see product underscore category. It should be more simple and English like language, like product category and all. But the important point of Query Studio, people simple drag and drop and fetch the required data without bothering about any complexity of your underlying source, including your table name, column name, keys name. So you need to understand there are two important things. When your business will query, business query how it is built. Business people don't understand SQL and they are not going to ask any question technical language. Their question is something like this: list me all active products, or list me top 5, list me all product category, and their last 3 months sales. So their queries are in English language, but this cannot be understood directly by your underlying source system. So this business query needs to convert to technical query. For example, first we list all the active products. Corresponding to this, your system should be capable enough to answer this business query into technical terms. So it should be product category, product name. In order to write this query, one should know all the column name, all the keys, everything, from TBL product. What Cognos does, where product status equals to active. What does your system do? The moment business asks any question, this business query converts into technical query. Your Cognos Query Studio does this job. You see this live. When I drag and drop and I got a query output, simple, but behind the screen it generates a SQL query. So you can look at the log file and identify what queries are being generated. So I will be more focusing only the business data rather than on the complexity of my underlying data, complexity of my technology or system. That's a typical Query Studio. When you want basic information, you would prefer to use Query Studio. Second, you have a Report Studio, as the name indicate. Report Studio and Query Studios both can be used by business users and technical developers. There's an overlapping. When you work in report design or development, there are two main primary job roles you are going to face in the interview, in your job. First, you will be working as a data modeler, which is framework manager developer. A second job role you are going to play as a report developer. The framework modeler job is to facilitate report developers and business users to create report with no complexity related to your technical metadata. This is my job as a data modeler. I would like to hide all the complexity to my users, from my users. Right? And in turn, when I give it to my business user, when I work as a data modeler, what I would like to do for my business user, simplify data model so people can query data. People can query business data. This is my objective which I like to achieve for my business user. For my report developer, what I like to do, I want a report developer should focus on report design rather than data modeling complexity. I don't want my report developer should worry about data consistency, data problem, any problem related to data. I don't want my developer should pay attention. I want my developer should only focus on report design. So I need to hide complexity for my both users. These are my consumers. But when I work as a report developer, my job role changes. I would be focusing on data presentation, organization, and data visualization. So my job role changes when I move from one to, in the first phase of a report design, we would be working as a data modeler, and second phase we work as a report developer. So when I work on Report Studio, primarily I'm working as a report developer. Okay. And what is my job? Data presentation and all these things. This is what my job. Okay. If I work, so I prepare a report as per business standard or queries or mock-up report and give it to my business analyst. They can play around with this. Second possibility is that report developer also facilitate ad hoc reporting so that business users can modify or play around is the proper word, play around as per their need. When I'm report developer, it's not me always provide a report to them. I would just give a basic framework in which they're going to prepare report on their own. So my job is to give a basic framework to my report developer, to my business analyst. Report Studio is the same thing. If it is being used by report developer, they'll prepare a complete sophisticated report. If it is being used by business user, they drag and drop and focusing only on the data. They don't bother about report presentation. All these things they may not be knowing. Okay. So if I'm report developer, I can write a complex thing, right? I can write a complex business logic, conditional statement, multiple things I can do. You see, you have another state component over here called Go to home page. And you see over here you have option called create authorized advanced report. Click on this. These are the metadata against you are going to prepare your report. Select your metadata, and you see, if you see the beauty of Cognos, it's completely browser based. Cognos Report Studio, a completely browser based. You do not need any plugin, any ActiveS control. You just need a browser. Click on new. Again, you see you have multiple ways of presenting your data. List, cross tabular, chart, map, graphs, multiple ways. You select any one of the way, and again you would be focusing on data presentation, look and feel, how to organize this in a more elegant and meaningful way. So again, the same thing you do over here. You select your respective column and data. You see by default data display in the query studio immediately got the output, right? But here you get a report structure, so that you can do plenty of things. You can go and change font color, font format. You can add computed column, add calculation, create a complex filter and all, right? So the primary objective over here, it is being used by your technical developer to prepare a real sophisticated professional report, including you can add all activities over here, like business report studio is used primarily to write all business logics, calculations. All the business logic use calculation or filtering of data. All this activity do in report studio. In addition to report presentation. Right. Then you have another product called Analysis Studio. Analysis Studio, important point over here, it works only on multi-dimensional database. Right. If you do not know what is multi-dimensional database, I would recommend you to go through the fundamental videos of multi-dimensional database. A multi-dimensional database organizes data in a cross-tabular format. I give you a quick view about how it looks like a multi-dimensional database. How it look like eventually. It is different than your traditional database, and the way of presenting data is also different. Okay, this is your traditional database in which information is stored in terms of records, right? You see there are columns and rows. Each rows is one transaction, or in simple one logical statement. When you go to Walmart and buy something, they record their information in this format: from which country the customer come, what product he bought, what was product line, product detail, what time he bought, what was the store name, who was the store manager for the store, store type, which store he has bought. So all the information they record in a row wise fashion. This is called transactional system. But in a multi-dimensional database, the data is organized in a cross tabular format. Look at this. This is a cross tabular view of your data. The simplest one is two-dimensional view, where data is organized. One dimension is your province, another dimension your time, and the intersection of time and province is your numbers. So cross tabular report is also called multi-dimensional view. See, this is three-dimensional view of your data. One dimension is your store, another one your sales manager, and province and time. Intersection of all of them is your data. So you see the total sales, let's say assume this is sales, total sales for Q1 in New York done by sales manager John under store type is 1200. This is how you read by arrow operator. This is New York sales This is New York quarter 1 sales, New York quarter 1 sales done by John, New York quarter 1 sales done by John in store type online store. So typically a multi-domain database look like this. More sophisticated look like this. This is how it logically stored. So multi-dimensional database is primarily designed for high data analysis, data hierarchy. So when you have data of this category, you want data hierarchy, there is a separate product called Analysis Studio. Analysis Studio I cannot demonstrate now because my current system doesn't have hierarchy, but I'll walk you through later. Analysis Studio, in order to do all kind of analysis, hierarchy analysis and all. So Analysis Studio functions similar to Query Studio, but it works in multidimensional sources. This tool allows navigation structures such as multidimensional OLAP. You remember the Excel sheet just I shown you? That is an example of multidimensional OLAP view. OLAP for online analytical processing. The data stored like a cube. The data stored as cube. See, this is my one box. In one box there is another box. This is called one cube. In one cube, one cell itself is another cube. So data is analyzed in terms of cube. Data is organized in terms of cube. Otherwise it is exactly like a Query Studio. So they work on two different products for two different category of data. Then you have an Event Studio. Event Studio, as we discussed yesterday, there are two ways of supplying information to the user, push and pull. Event Studio works on push. So you define events like your basic events. Events are based on, it could be time based or scheduled. You see around you, you always face event in your life, day-to-day life. Every day you get mail from different company, different promotional site. They are based on events, right? Common events, like for a sales, I want monthly closing report on first business day. First business day, my all business analyst or sales manager should get a monthly closing report. Or it could be event based. Any event based, let's say stock on hand. If stock on hand less than X value, then what do you want? You want to notify the stock manager by mobile, by SMS or report, or some sort of alert would be generated. It is events is basically alerts which notify user on certain activity happen. We can also define events. Okay. Next is your another component called Framework Manager. We are going to start Framework Manager from today. Framework Manager, I believe, is the area where one should pay the highest attention. Is a baseline of your report. The success of your project greatly depends upon Framework Manager. What is Framework Manager? It's a data modeling tool. In one simple word, Framework Manager it defines data model. So when I say data model, it says what dimension you need. In one simple word, double quote, scope of analysis is controlled through data model. I mean, what dimension you need, what fact you need, what dimension hierarchy, dimension hierarchy, grains or granularity of metadata, facts, type of fact, fully additive or semi-additive. If you find these words are Greek to you, I would again suggest you to go through the fundamental of data warehousing, semi-additive. So all the baseline required to prepare a data model is defined in the Framework Manager. It's a graphical presentation of your business data. You see in this example, I have a framework manager, multiple layers. I can show you the graphical model of it. This is my framework manager. If I zoom it, you can see the information is organized in terms of dimension or table, and how dimension or tables are related to each other. So dimension, column, keys, join, constraint, joins, their cardinality, column type, properties, everything you see over here defined. From where all the calculation, filter and other activities on actual physical query. This is actual physical query. So framework manager makes a baseline where you prepare your report. Framework manager you can also call is a semantic model. So when you pull data source from your system, you cannot directly build report on top of that. You need a semantic layer because the data source comes from different sources, often not in a compatible format, not a meaningful or compatible from business intelligence report. BI report has their own world, their own needs. So before under reporting itself, we prepare a semantic layer. And in semantic layer, we address all the complexity of data modeling. Simple semantic layer convert your underlying data source into the way where we can perform a business intelligence. Basic activity, simplification of data model, complexity. We simplify it. We add calculation or computation, aggregation. We add all business logic. All business logic actually do it framework manager. See, so you see we have prepared a quite departmental solution. I mean, we distinguish who is going to do what. Report developer or report studio, query studio are more focused on data presentation, data organization, data visualization, whereas framework manager is more responsible to apply calculation, business logic, filtering, all this activity we do in our framework manager. This is what we're going to talk in detail. We have got close to 12 to 15 sessions in which we talk in greater detail about framework manager. My focus area is always framework manager, maybe because I more biased to data modeling, or I over the period of time many implementation I found many projects do not meet the client expectation, and the majority of the reason the framework manager is not designed by experienced people, or it is designed by only technology people, or it is designed without considering business user needs. And going back and remodeling a framework manager may be very expensive. Framework manager is like a blueprint of your house, and once you start implementation, first you design a structure of your house. If anything wrong in the house structure, and once your house is built, the house structure cannot be changed, or it can be changed by demolishing, or it incur a high cost. Framework manager is the same thing. It's a universal model. It is not departmental. It is implement for whole. It's a one framework manager for whole department, for whole organization, across all departments. So changing framework manager, it's pretty a complicated affair. The next great success behind Cognos these days, which everybody admire and like it, with the integration of MS Office. I don't have integration component now. I'll show you subsequently. We call this, we allow business intelligence in Excel. Whatever people do through browser, they can do everything remain in Excel sheet, or maybe in Word or PowerPoint. When the integration of business intelligence done in Excel, Word or PowerPoint, your business user like your CEO, CFO or budget administrator, business people with 60, 70 years of age, they don't tend to learn new things. They find quite reluctant or uncomfortable with your BI solution or your browser based view. Maybe browser is pretty easy for us, drag and drop and process. maybe that thing also very difficult. They are so smart, they are so good at business strategy in Excel, they are so used to of MS Office product, but they are not very good at BI. So in order to bring them into the mainstream, it is possible to integrate business intelligence in Excel sheet. People can do everything in Excel, no tool required. That's the beauty of it. Right, so these are all, I have given a one-liner overview of all component. Finally, you have one more thing called Business Insight and Business Insight Advanced and Workspace. Business Insight Advanced, as I said, conventional business intelligence tool like Cognos, IBM Cognos, Oracle OBI, or SAP Business Object have a very detailed, very tough competition with new generation BI, especially when it comes to data visualization, data prediction, departmental level solution. So they also coming up with a new product and solution. Business Insight Advanced is a same generation, that generation solution, where people can do desktop analysis, drag and drop and analyze it. I mean, the interface is designed so simple that people can drag and drop and process it. And you see this diagram, Business Insight Advanced is a mixture or a combination of Query Studio, Analysis Studio, and Report Studio. So on one hand, Cognos sell a separate license for each component. On another hand, their competitors like Tableau, ClickView sell one product consists of everything. To remain in the market, in the competition market, Cognos come up with Business Insight Advanced, which is a combination of Query Studio, Analysis Studio, and Report Studio. So if you procure Business Insight license, it would be a combination of all of them. You do not require additional license for it. So don't only think from a developer point of view, also think from business user point of view, business point of view. Before they procure any product or buy, what properties or feature they like to see. Business Insight Advanced is a great product these days and being used extensively in the market. And MS Office integration I already discussed about. That's a one-line overview of all the products. Before I proceed further and talk about Framework Manager in detail, should you have any question, you can ask me. As developer, you may not be involved into other first two phase. So in case you are an architect or maybe a owner of an organization and you would like to start, you want business intelligence to be implemented in your organization, you approach to certain companies and they chalk out a plan for you. So plan for implementation. The planning phase is done by project manager, senior analyst, along with the business people who understand business completely, business workflow process. So we start with some objective, a problem statement. I want my business intelligence to be implemented in order to improve my customer satisfaction. I would like to improve my order processing. I want to leverage my business. I want to increase my revenue. Some problem statement, and then we come up with a plan how business intelligence will help organization to improve their business. Then once you plan out everything, prepare a project plan, implementation, resources, infrastructure, hardware, everything, we come with the implementation part through manage. You identify the right server, operating system, underlying hardware, and then you prepare installation, install, configure, set up your security model. See different cases. In case I am designing my reporting on top of SAP Business Object, I mean SAP ERP, Oracle ERP, or PeopleSoft, or some ERP solution, I would like to reuse the existing users. So if 10,000 users are using my Oracle ERP, and I go to my client and say I need to recreate those 10,000 users again for Cognos, it is quite a stupid solution. So my solution should use existing user base, user groups, privileges, their access right, and provisioning. To access this, we use existing security model. Often Cognos integrate with LDAP server like Microsoft LDAP server or ActiveX. So I can existing users, we can reuse them. This is also, it's done in the beginning phase. Generally in the manage phase, you come up with your user needs, user category, my BI is going to use by HR department, it is going to use by sales, marketing, procurement and all. And administration of reports, how many administration of server and report, how many server you have, what is your backup policy, what is your downtime policy, what is your SLA, what is high availability. All these complex questions are being addressed in this part. So basically we people are involved from phase third. By the time you go and start working on any BI reporting solution, the first two phase would have done, and they already chalk out a plan to you, give you the what kind of reports are required to prepare, report mock-up and all. So the first step, you prepare framework manager projects and publish package. Framework manager project would come up with what business data you want for your analysis. For example, in this case, I am doing a sales order processing. This is my sample tables for SOP, sales order processing. So we have information about sales, customer, we have information about product and order as well. Right now I have not included, it's a different source. I am going to demonstrate multi-source environment, multiple source, where some piece of data exists in one database, another piece of data exists in another database. This is called data federation. Okay. So in this model, you see we have a set of tables or dimension, column, keys, joins. Now this gives me a problem statement. What, considering these dimension fact, what kind of question can be answered, what kind of question cannot be answered. So when I say framework manager project, I give it to this, I take a list of questions from my user and check can we answer this question or not. For example, in this model I have a customer details, right? Customer details. It has only customer personal details. I want additional query data like business query. My query is I like to analyze products, analyze customer based on demographics. Does my question current model answer this question? Then I further go down and say I like to analyze products based on consumer type. So we come up list of questions and check, does my current data model answer this question or not? Is it capable enough to answer? If it does, it is fine. If it does not, we add the respective table and go back to the source and say these more tables are required. So data modeling is actually done along with based on user inputs, your business user query. You prepare based on user query, you give it to your data modeler and ask them give you information about metadata dictionary. The first document we should refer, that is called metadata dictionary. Meta dictionary, I'm talking a standard. My experience is more towards process based companies, banking and insurance sector. So such companies they follow very high standard in terms of documentation, process management. So even if you work with good companies, Deloitte and Infosys, they are very document oriented. They follow very right standard approach. There may be possible you find a scenario where people might have not even heard of metadata dictionary. So metadata dictionary is the first document where you get information about underlying data source like dimension, what dimension you have, what facts you have, what keys you have, what joins you have, column, keys, joins, column, control, constraints. All these information you get, it's a Bible for, when I design data modeling, it's a Bible for me. Anything wrong in the metadata dictionary, in turn design wrong model. And it also gives you information about all business data. Imagine you are a developer and you're working in financial domain and somebody give you a table called TBL CC 10102 and these are the column, and this is what real time, this is a problem which everyone has to face, you also have to face, and you're surprised what is TBL CC 10429. So this is basically a technical name. Metadata dictionary give you information about, this is a table, CC for cost center. 1029 is a cost center number, which English meaning, in a business meaning, it is a North America sales expenses. Right. So you do not know as a technical developer what is what table, what column, what key, what joins, and a lot of abbreviations are used. You do not know them. Data dictionary will give you all this information. So that is the first document you are supposed to refer. Once you prepare your on top of data dictionary, you prepare a package. And once you prepare a package, you authorized and consume. Consumer is done by report developer. Authorization and report preparation done by consuming done by business users. Authorized report preparation done by report developer. So you see there are 5-step operation and different people are involved. Plan done by your business team, project manager. Manage done by again your business team along with infrastructure team. Model done by data modeler. Authorization of report, creation of report is done by report developer, and consuming is done by business user, ultimately end users. So this is complete life cycle. Now today we are running short of time. Tomorrow onwards we start working hands-on on framework manager. I would recommend you to at least configure evaluation addition in your system. Right. So that's what we are going to start from tomorrow. So now I'm stopping here and open for your question if you have any.